It's time for Twig. This week at Google, Jeff is in Davos, Switzerland for the big World Economic Forum. He'll have a report from there. Matthew Ingram joins us from GigaOM to talk about the latest Google news, a little bit on Facebook, Social Graph, too. It's all coming up next on Twig.
Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twig.
Bandwidth for This Week in Google is provided by Cachefly. CACHEFLY.com. This is Twig, This Week in Google, episode 182, recorded January 23rd, 2013, halfway to Hamburg. This Week in Google is brought to you by Stamps.com. Use Stamps.com to buy and print real U.S. postage the instant you need it, right from your desk. For our special offer, visit Stamps.com, click the microphone, and enter Twig. And by LegalZoom.com. LegalZoom's not a law firm. LegalZoom provides self-help services at your direction, such as affordable business and personal documents you can trust. Visit LegalZoom.com and use the offer code TWIG to receive $10 off at checkout. And by Ting.com. Ting is a new mobile phone service that makes sense. Save money with Ting. Pay for what you use. You don't need to sign a contract, and you can get unlimited devices on a single pooled plan. To save $25 on your first Ting device, visit twig.ting.com. It's time for Twig This Week in Google. Googa! And joining us today, it's good to have you from GigaOM. It's Matthew Ingram. Hello, Matthew. He's waving. Matthew, there are people listening who don't know that you're waving. So on that, when you do I have to then say, Matthew Ingram is now waving his hand. No nodding, waving. And from Davos, from the World Economic Forum, Mr. Jeff Jarvis with his Android beanie. Did they give you that?
No, I bought it in the Google store.
How much?
Oh, I need that for all about
Android.
Android.
It's my cold weather gear.
I really
Don't you love
want
it?
that. I want that. That is awesome.
Isn't that the greatest thing?
That's awesome.
Really, really good. You look like an insane person.
Well, it's worse coming over the headset.
Well, can you get that online? I'm ordering it right now. That's awesome.
I'm pink and green. I went into the store and bought it. I bought one for my daughter for Christmas.
That's awesome.
Oh, cute.
Antennae.
I bet she looks
Does she use Android?
No, but
Oh, well, maybe this will be the first step to convert her.
You know, the Play Store, they have music, books, magazines, movie and TV, Android apps, and devices, but no swag. They need a swag.
They do.
There's a
They
Google
really
swag
need a
store.
swag.
Maybe it's
section.
It's just shop.
so there's
Shop.
a swag store. Google swag store.
Oh, should I search
it
for
up.
Google Swag Store?
I believe he's talking about
there
at
is
the
one.
Google campus.
Yeah, he was at the Plex. He was at the campus.
I don't want to have to drive to Mountain
Right, but they
View.
also, online, they also sell you stuff. I don't know if they say that or not, but they also say stuff online.
Guess what? GoogleStore.com.
Yeah.
Also, Gina Trapani.
Jeff Trapani
Jeff
and Gina
Trapani and Gina Jarvis.
Jeff Trapani.
You both sound like Gina Trapani of smarterware.org. And
Hello.
in the Google store, they obviously have a server in the basement somewhere in some closet because it's not moving very fast. Oh my gosh, is that slow?
Yeah, this is a weird interface. Click on your location.
Do you think this is real? It says copyright
So it
Google.
is. You can buy stuff from them, yes.
It's an ASPX file.
We are currently down for maintenance, and it's got a
Efficient.
lava lamp. I think this is.
You broke it.
I think this is bad.
Broken.
This is a bad sign. Everybody's going there to buy the hat.
It's an ASPX file. I'm not sure that I.
It's
buy
fake.
this is a
Google would
thing.
not use a Microsoft technology.
No.
They
no way.
do have a Google online store. Whether you found it or not through Google or not, I don't know. But
I did. In fact, that just shows you what the Department of Justice has contended, that Google does not favor its own places. Because Google Online Store is #1 in the search results. Google Store Home. #2.
Yeah, down for maintenance. We'll be up shortly. Chat room. Did you just take down googlestore.com?
I think we took it down.
Nice.
Everybody went to buy this stupid hat.
Good work.
Nice
The hat's
job.
pretty great. Jeff
hey,
is Jeff's
stupid
the
hat.
model.
No.
No, it's a great hat. So, Google's to Wall Street. You got our Q4 numbers wrong. Their analysts' estimates were too high. So Google told everybody a few days ago, hey, don't get your hopes up. It ain't going to be that good. And the reason was it's an accounting thing, actually, because the analysts included Motorola Home in the estimates, and Google has announced today that they are not going to include that in the results because they sold it in December. Did we know they sold it, or is that news?
Yeah, we did know
knew
that.
We knew.
Okay.
Yeah, we knew.
Google did all right, not as well as Apple, but they did $8.62 a share in the fourth quarter, $2.89 billion in is that revenue or profit? No, that's in profit compared to $2.71 billion in profit in the year to date a year ago. But that's on revenue of $11.34 billion. So that's, they don't have the same revenue, and they don't have the same profit, and they don't have the same profit margin as Apple. Shares up 5% in after-hours trading to $736.40.
But you can see they were trying to avoid what we were just talking about with Apple. You missed by even a little.
Right.
The street penalizes you because they had X estimates. So they were guiding them.
That's smart. I don't know how legal it is, but it's smart.
Happens all the time.
I guess you have to. Or you want to. Yeah, Apple had a great quarter. The record revenue, record profits, and after-hours trading of the stock is down considerably because
It has cooties.
they missed the analyst estimate by a couple $100 million.
You know what they say,
Yes,
buy on rumor, sell on fact.
right. Chat room also contends it has something to do with Apple's advisement for the next quarter, that it's disappointing in some obscure way to Wall Street. It's not really news, is it? When this, it's just Wall Street. Google's making money, right? That's good news. Any surprises in their results of quarterly results?
Not that I saw.
All right. So we'll move on then. Anything to learn from the quarterly results? You guys have parsed it, I suppose. Analyze. I was busy reading Football for Dummies. I don't have any idea what happened.
I was
Nothing.
sort of less interested in the numbers and more interested in what Larry's kind of speech, And it sounds like there's nothing really hugely new there. It sounds like still focus and paring things down, or what what's important to him. And he did a whole bit about how Googlers are the biggest asset. And there's another story in the rundown about why Google is such a great place to work, and Fortune named it best place to work in the U.S. for like the fourth year in a row. But other than that, nothing too surprising.
John Schwartz in the USA Today does point out one thing that could be a cause for concern. The click price, cost per click, dipped 6% and has now its fifth straight fall in cost per click prices. That's, of course, how Google makes money, and for the most part is through ad clicks. So their ads aren't as valuable as they used to be.
And that's the same with everybody.
That's 'cause of
everyone who
mobile,
does
right?
Web ads, yeah.
Yeah.
It's mobile. I think it's also social versus search. It's also just declining ad prices going across new live exchanges. A lot of competition.
We charge more here at Twit, so there. So there.
I hope somebody got a screenshot of Leo's tongue.
Did you see Sergey Brin, by the way, on the subway? Who got that picture? That's a great picture.
I love that story. It's like
He
dude
looks
just
cool.
getting on the downtown train in Times Square and notices somebody wearing Google glasses, and it happens to be
Sergey Brin, the
Brin.
founder of Google.
Yeah. It's such a
Wow.
great photo. I love that he takes a subway.
I do too. He dresses down for the subway. He's not wearing his normal James Bond tuxedo, but you can tell it's him. He's wearing a watch cap. Can you see that, Chad?
You look like a cat burglar.
He does. He looks like he's got a bag of stuff that he took from somebody's house. He's wearing a watch cap, kind of a zip-up jacket, not a hoodie, more like a turtleneck, and some very interesting glasses.
If it wasn't for the glasses, I wouldn't have looked twice at him.
Yeah, I wouldn't look twice at him either. But I love that the person who wrote that blog post, recognized that he was wearing the glasses and then was like, "Is that Sergey?" And asked to take a picture and
Isn't that
actually had a
cool?
chat
Yeah.
with him about it.
Oh, so he actually asked. Yeah, because Sergey's looking right at
He
him.
did, yeah.
His wife is looking away. She doesn't want to be recognized, but Sergey's there. See, she's pretending she doesn't know him.
Is that?
That's
Sorry,
very
that's
funny,
just,
Leo.
that's just mean.
That's a great jacket.
I'm like, pink plaid to me says loaded. I'm sorry. I am such not a man of the people.
Yeah, he asked Sergey if he could take a picture of him, and Sergey smiled and said yes, and then he chatted him up about it. And then this guy, I think his name is Noah
Zirkin.
Noah Zirkin. Yeah, I blogged about it, but said that some of the things that they talked about he wants to keep off the record.
Yeah.
So that was interesting.
Just so you know, the downtown number 3 express train from Times Square. He says this guy obviously, what is he, a programmer or something? He says I've encountered a number of people wearing Google Glass. Wow.
Yeah, this person is in the know.
Yeah.
Well, I never have. I take that train all the time.
An associate is actually a member. Yeah, really. So I looked up, and there was a fellow wearing a glass unit. Cool. I've been to Google NYC for a tech talk, and I see Googlers on the subway periodically. It wasn't that much of a surprise, but boy, that guy sure looks a lot like Sergey Brin. I asked if I could take his picture. He smiled and consented. I asked how the project was coming along, how he liked where it was right now. Of course, he told me that he loved it. It's coming along really well. Somehow, though, I didn't trust my own eyes enough to believe it was really Sergey sitting across from me. I mean, I've seen the dude's private jetliner with my own eyes while working at a NASA Ames. What would he be doing on the subway? It's true, he has his own jet. Many, not one. More than one private jet. I asked if he was part of the Core X team, and he said, yes, I am. As a matter of fact. He told me there are about 100 other people outside of X who have prototype devices. I told him I was a Vuzix developer and was looking forward to getting a dev unit.
And will you hire me? Will you hire me?
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I want to know if he was wearing the Vibram Five Fingers shoes.
Does he wear those?
Yeah.
Those weird shoes that look like a foot?
Yeah, the 5
Yeah.
fingers.
Finger shoes?
He wears them all the time. That's what I thought.
So, you know, he really is an eccentric billionaire. I like that. He rides the subway. God bless him. Love that. Why not? The subway's the fastest way to get around New York. Right?
Yeah, jet doesn't work too well to get downtown from Times Square.
Yeah. But a cab can get stuck in traffic. Even a black car can get stuck in traffic. All right, we're going to take a break. I guess we lost Davos, so we're going to get Jeff back. Whoopsies.
Maybe Bill kicked out the power.
I think that's what happened. Jeff Jarvis is at and I'm going to ask about this, the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland. And his roomie is Bill Gross of Idea Lab, one of the most famous venture capitalist startup guys out there. It's kind of cool. That's why you go to Davos, isn't it? Our show today brought to you by our friends at Stamps.com. And I got to tell you, this is a great solution if you do any, quantity of mailing. It's a pro solution for people who are in the shipping business. Now, that could be a business like ours. In fact, we use Stamps.com because we send out invoices, e-mailings, all kinds of mailings. We just don't want to go to the post office and buy postage, especially now that, the stamps, the price is going up. So you got to, if you use regular stamps, you got to go buy new ones? No. Stamps.com, you always print your postage as needed, always the right postage. In fact, with this great scale, let me reach down and get it. This great scale, you'll always know exactly how much postage. This is part of the deal. We're going to offer you a great no-risk trial offer. This is a USB scale. You plop your letter on there, Stamps.com or package. Stamps.com calculates the postage, and then prints it right out. In fact, it prints it on the envelope if you want, with your return address, your logo. It'll even take the mailing address from QuickBooks, your address book. If you're an Amazon or eBay or Etsy or PayPal seller, it'll take it from there. You get automatic discounts you can't even get at the post office on express mail and priority mail. It'll even send out an email to your recipient saying, here's the tracking number, it's on its way. All of this automatically. If you're doing international mailing, it fills out those international forms. And even then, you don't have to get up off your duff and go to the post office. No, the mail carrier comes to you and gets it all. Stamps.com is a great way to do it. All you need is your computer and printer. You don't need a postage meter or anything like that. Go to Stamps.com right now. Click the radio microphone in the upper right-hand corner and use our offer code TWIG, TWIG, and you'll get a $110 bonus offer that includes that scale I mentioned, which is worth $50, $55 in free postage, coupons you can use over a few months period, a $5 supply kit, and a 4-week trial of Stamps.com. It's a great offer. Take advantage of this. If you got some mailing coming up, oops, I just closed the offer. Don't do what I did. Leave the offer open. Stamps.com. There it is. $110 bonus offer awaits you when you use the offer code TWIG. Do we have Jeff back, or did he go offline? Let's see. We're calling him right now. Matthew Ingram, Gina Trapani, Jeff Jarvis talking about Google. What did he say? Anything of great interest, Gina, in the conference call? Did he reveal anything?
It was the typical CEO thing where he talked about all of Google's, successes over the past year. He talked about Knowledge Graph. He talked about Chrome, and he talked about focus, right? About how Google has to pick the products that they really have to focus on. And he also, and I really like this, he talked about sort of how we're all living this like multi-screen life right now, and that this is kind of uncharted territory, I think he called it. How we all have a phone and a tablet and a laptop, and I assume he didn't say this, but I assume we're all gonna have glasses soon too, right? And we have to make experiences that are that sync across those things and that work well. Sort of the multi-screen life. He talked about
it's a multi-screen life for us. A multi-screen life for us.
He talked about how there's a lot of room for innovation with these screens, like how that, when we drop our phones, they shouldn't crack in half, and it should be a lot easier to have these small devices. They're all walking around with supercomputers in our pockets, and there are a lot of innovations, opportunities in that. And absolutely agree, right? Mobile's a big thing. It wasn't anything too crazy
Sounded
or
like
exciting.
a pep talk almost.
Yeah, I mean right. That's his job, isn't
Yeah.
it? Right, to talk about how great the past year was.
Yeah,
a lot
Google,
of cheerleading.
Google
And
cheerleader. Yeah.
Yep.
Although I think the analysts are pretty smart, I would think that they would want to hear open and frank conversations about challenges and things like that, right?
Yeah, I mean, he still
No?
said that his
Matthew goes, no. No, they don't want to.
he said biggest challenge is focus, right? That Google has to put its energies in the right places.
And that has
So I don't
been
know.
his
Do we
big
agree with
message
that?
too, right? That's been his big message. More wood behind fewer arrows, focusing,
Yep.
paring down.
Yep. He did say that they have some supply chain issues that they have to work out. The Nexus, and he was referring to the Nexus line, how it's impossible to get the Nexus 4 or the Nexus 10 at this point. And so that was a little bit of an admission. Clearly, there's work to be done managing our supply better, as well as building a great customer experience, and that is a priority for the team. So, okay, good to hear that.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the real issue is they underestimated. And by the way, LG said it's not our fault; it's Google's fault. They
both
told
seem
us how
to be
many to
blaming
make.
each other in a way.
Pardon me?
They both seem to be blaming each other. I mean, Google seems to be saying it's LG. LG's saying it's Google. I guess that always happens.
Well, I would think that LG has the capacity to manufacture enough Nexus 4s that it really comes down to
What did Google tell them to expect?
what did Google say?
Yeah.
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 Right?
Maybe they just underestimated.
That's what happened is Google, I mean, you can't blame them. This is not their business. Hardware is not their business.
And it's definitely better to underestimate than
Yeah,
overestimate.
you don't want to make too many.
This is what he said about the multi-screen opportunities. He said, think about your device. Battery life is a huge issue. You shouldn't have to worry about constantly recharging your phone. When you drop your phone, it shouldn't go splat.
Right.
Everything should be a ton faster and easier. There's real potential to invent new and better experiences. So he might be talking about glass there, maybe just talking about Motorola and what maybe they can do there. We were talking about all about Android yesterday. The rumors about the Motorola Google, the Googlerola X phone that may be, I don't know, the Google I/O giveaway this year. That'll be interesting. But yeah, the rest of this just really did kind of seem like cheerleading and nothing really new.
Interesting though, it sounds like he's taking a little bit of a pot shot at Apple when he says about the braking, although Android phones break too. But it sounds like he's really aiming at Apple. I don't know why he would even need to do that.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I buy double batteries for my Android phones.
Yeah,
right?
that's one of the chief advantages, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. But the fact is that, as nerds were like, well, we can change out the battery, but his point is like you shouldn't have to recharge. Recharging
Right.
shouldn't be such a pain to begin with.
Right.
It's a stopgap solution, just having a second battery.
Right. We're still trying to get Jeff back. I blame Bill Gross. Did you see that before we started? Jeff showed us the pile
power
of
bar.
wires. It did not look sensible.
Didn't look safe.
I'll tell you what. Let's get the trumpets out while we're getting Jeff. We'll play
do
some
the-
trumpets, and we'll do the Google Changelog.
The Google Changelog.
New from Google this week. Gina Trapani has the changelog.
A small handful of little minor things this week. First, Google Slides, which is Google Drive's presentation PowerPoint slide deck tool. That's going offline, so that's going to be available for offline use. And Google Sheets to follow. They're rolling this functionality out this week. And basically, you just have to install the offline Chrome app into your Chrome browser if you're using Chrome. If you're on Chrome OS, it works for you automatically. If you're just using Chrome on your desktop, you install the offline Drive Chrome app, and you'll have Slides offline.
That's awesome.
That's nice for when you're on the plane and freaking out because you've got your presentation is in an hour and you got to make a last minute change to your slide deck.
Oh.
Chrome is getting search encryption for not signed in users. So right now, if you're signed into Chrome and you do a Google search from the Omnibox, that request is made over SSL. That means that your information, your referrer information, isn't sent to the website. Now, from Chrome 25 on, if you're not signed in, same thing. Everything is SSL by default.
Wow.
Yeah, which is really nice. And actually, I would love to hear what Jeff thinks about that referrer information not getting sent along to publishers, because that does affect publishers and their ability to kind of see what drove people to their content, what drove users.
Jeff's here. Jeff, what do you think?
I'm back. I think it really does affect it. In fact, I was talking to somebody from Google today. I've been talking to some publishers. I think the exchange of value that should occur with Google is about data, about the readers who come to them. And if there's something shut that off, it cuts off another part of the negotiations that we'll see later in the list. Means that Google's kind of trapped in dealing with publishers in Europe.
By the way, I just bought 3 of those beanies.
Oh, sweet. Back up.
They come from the UK, though. I'm never going to get them.
Oh, you did find them?
Yeah, they come from the UK on this Google store. Wait a minute. Where'd you find them?
I think it's the same store.
It's the same store. It's the UK, yeah.
Yeah, because it says down there in the bottom
It's in euros and pounds and dollars.
Can you buy us a few, Jeff, and bring them over?
I bought 3, so I could send one to you, Matthew, and one to Gina.
Perfect.
Oh, Jeff already got his. Oh, I guess it's because he's where he's located. No.
Because he's in Europe.
Yeah, he's in Europe.
Just vacuum pack.
No,
a
he
bunch.
got it. He went to Mountain View. He got it
I was in
officially.
Mountain View
He
when
got
I
it
got
from
it there.
Mountain View.
Oh.
I got stocking stuffers for Christmas for the kids, and this for me.
Nice.
It's brand edition limited that sells these things, so I don't know what the hell. I'm never going to see.
Does it look like mine?
Yeah, it's yours. It's the same one. There it is. That looks
eyes?
like yours, doesn't it? It's got the eyes.
How come Sergey wasn't wearing one?
Yeah. Now that's how you get anonymous on a train.
Yeah, that'll be really anonymous. Google Glass. Like that.
I think it's a good way to get a seat. People kind of move over when you come in. Oh, boy. Anyway, continue on. Changelog continued. Part 2.
News. Google Maps Street View now includes Israel. So lots of new pictures of Israel, and I would list all the cities where there are pictures available. But I don't want to totally mangle the names. But go over to Israel and Google Maps and check out Street View. Lots of new imagery there. And finally, Google's integrating Google Plus profiles into its company jobs board. So just got named best company to work for in the U.S., Fortune magazine, 4th year in a row. If you want to work at Google, go to jobs.google.com. And if you're signed into your Google Plus account or your Google account, it will prompt you, big blue bar right across the top of the screen. Hey, do you want to connect your Google Plus profile? If you say yes, Google Jobs will suggest jobs at Google that might be interesting to you based on your profile information. And you can star jobs, you can get email updates about particular job listings, and you can apply to a job in one click. That was the only feature I didn't actually test because I'm not actually applying to
Okay,
Google.
so what this means, Gina, is that if it looks at my profile and stuff, it means that I'm going to be a burrito maker.
Oh, this guy. We got the Chipotle Cafe. We should.
Yeah.
You get, technical writer, communications, PR. I mean, in theory, right? If it works, burrito maker would probably be good for you too, Jeff. You've posted about Chipotle a couple times.
All the time.
Freedom fighter, Gina. Google freedom fighter.
Google
That's what I
Freedom
want.
Fighter. There you go.
Liberation nist.
See, I didn't get that bar, and I am signed in. Maybe do you have to use Chrome? Maybe. Let me try it. Maybe it's in Chrome.
Right home. If it didn't, you just went to jobs@google.com and
Yeah.
it just says it should say just.
It
click.
just was a normal thing.
Oh, maybe there's
no
just-
bar. Maybe it
Huh.
knows I'm not really looking for work.
Well, search so you get that.
It doesn't
that's-
want you.
Search
like-
jobs. Okay, let's see. Boss.
Search for. And then the search results.
Let's see. Search
Chief
all-
Kvetcher.
Chief Kvetcher. They might have some listings here. None of our openings match boss. Oh, here it is. Enable Google Plus. Hi there. Okay, so you had to search for something first. Okay.
Yeah, I got it too.
Now will it recommend a job for me?
Yeah, I mean, in theory, it will. Yeah, if you just go to jobs, the jobs tab, it should tailor listings for you.
That
You
would
can
be
also
so cool.
also narrow the job listings by location. So I think the defaults are like Mountain View, San Francisco, New York.
Based on your educational criteria, we believe you could work in the back room sweeping up. I like this at the bottom. At Google, we don't just accept difference, we celebrate it, we support it, we thrive on it. That's an employment policy. I
Love
like
it.
that. For the benefit of our employees,
Or it's
our
just aimed
products are
at you,
committed.
Leo.
Maybe that's because I signed in. Oh, you're different.
Knows you're different.
You're a
Oh, you're
white
different.
man. An elderly white man. Well, I don't think we have any of those at Google. We'd love to have you give us some diversity. Yeah.
Leo, I heard there's a new service at Google. These children. We can get that.
Oh, they do what to children?
I was joking. I said they're proxy grandparents for employees' children.
Oh, I could do that. I could. What do they call it? Dandy. I could daggle somebody's. That doesn't sound right. Somebody's child on my knee. What is it? Dandle.
Dandle, yeah.
Thank God.
Whatever that was.
There's a
Leo,
writer
it's
here.
illegal, and you
Handle.
I could
shouldn't do it.
dandle somebody's
It means you
grandchild
bounce
on
them
my
up and down,
knee.
sort of. That's dandle.
Gotcha.
It doesn't sound right when you say it, though, does it?
No, it doesn't.
It's like from the 1600s. Nobody dandles anymore.
Come here, I'd like to dandle you on my knee.
Sounds like something that might get you.
Yeah.
Keep,
Arrest record.
keep my kids off your knee, Uncle Leo.
Wait a minute. I gotta look it up. Dandle, to move a baby or young child up and down in a playful or affectionate way.
There you go.
Right.
Move something lightly up and down. Dandling the halter rope, he gently urged the pony's head up. So I will dandle your child upon my knee.
Dandle.
Thank you.
This week in grammar.
Dandle.
This is something. This is good. I just searched for dandle on Google and I got this new thing.
Yeah, the one box define is really nice.
It's
Does
great.
the pronunciation.
It even
Yeah,
has
it's really-
the audio and.
It's
Dandle.
really well, and we talked about this last night on All About Android and Google Now. If you do define dandle, it'll define it for you as well.
So you have to
And read-
use
read
the
about-
word define, huh? Mm-hmm. Okay. I guess
Definition
dandle
of
was so
dandle.
obscure that now see somebody called me and said you don't pronounce niche, you pronounce it niche.
Niche.
I think
Thank you.
No,
both are
niche.
acceptable.
Niche.
Niche is froggy.
I think only fancy people say niche.
It's like saying schedule.
Okay.
That's just British.
Try Leistungsschutzrecht.
You try like I don't even know how to spell it, let alone say it.
Try gigabyte.
Are you done? Are you done with the change log?
I am. That is the change log.
Play the horn or drum or whatever it is.
Thank you, Chad. Favorite part of the show.
I love the change log. This was a great idea. Was it your idea or a listener's idea?
It was a listener's idea, but it was such a good idea. I'm not good at coming up with good ideas, but I'm good at recognizing them. So
Yeah.
went with it.
Well, I got an old, a very old show. Let me jump ahead to today's show. Well, I played with, by the way, with a Vizio Co-Star, which is one of the new Google TVs, and it's okay. It's the biggest problem they have is the networks and Hulu blocking them. If you can't do those watch those shows, I don't get the point of it. So I liked the Vizio Co-Star. That was nice. It was the nicest Google TV out there, but not the best. Are you still looking for a number, Jeff?
Yeah, I am.
How about the $1 billion headquarters in London Google's planning to build?
Well, now you just gave it to me and blew it in one breath.
What I giveth, I can handle away. There's a picture of it. Oh, no, here it comes. Oh, my God. I guess the FT's behind a paywall.
FT just gave me the, your
you
cookie,
bet it
our
is.
cookie policy pop-up.
Yeah. How would you like to give us some money before you read
Well, the
this
cookie
article?
policy, that's two different things. The cookie policy is EU regulation requiring you to sign off that it's okay to have these evil things called cookies sent to you. The paywall is a different matter.
So I'm agreeing that they're allowed to see the pieces of text that a browser puts on your hard drive at every website.
Shocking.
So I'm consenting to the act of browsing their
Precisely.
website.
You are leaking information. But look, this is what happens.
Cookies, though.
This is what happens if you don't pay the paywall.
Yeah.
I get a flesh-colored box.
Oh, you must have reached the limit because I was able to.
Oh, really? There's a limit?
Yeah.
If they're doing that thing
Only
like
if
the
you
Times
register.
does?
It's 10.
Only
I
if
think.
you've registered. You have to actually register.
Oh, I'm not registered.
I haven't either.
So that's what I get. So thank you, Financial Times, for that useless article. We were talking a little bit about this on Security Now. Google has declared war on the password.
Oh, what did Steve have to say about this? This is kind of interesting.
eager to hear that.
He's excited because one of the devices that they're talking about, that they're testing, is something that he has been a fan of and for a long time, the Yubico YubiKey. Have you seen that?
I have not played with it myself, but yeah, I've heard about this.
We've had Stina, the founder of Yubico, on the show several times. It's a little USB device. Now, the current YubiKey, that's about the size of it as the image I'm showing right now. The current YubiKey is a very odd device because when you plug it into the USB port, it appears as a keyboard, because all computers understand keyboards, and it types a long password, like really long, like I don't know.
Oh.
So
Wow.
I know it's very odd. So if you have a text editor up, you'll actually just type your password in the clear. That's not what you want. That's not what they're talking about with the Google idea. But the Google idea is there would be a redesigned Yubico that Chrome would be aware of, and it could be this on a keychain. It could be literally could be a ring they're talking about, a ring on your finger, and then if you're using the new Chrome, that's all you need, and it's kind of a frictionless login.
What
Yeah,
if
I
you
really
lose it?
like this idea of
Well,
an
how-
object being the thing that lets me in. You know, like
You do like it?
the
Yeah, I do
two-step
too.
auth. You know, you having your
Well,
phone.
I'd want it to
that's
be. I'd still want it to be two-step, right? You'd still want a
Yeah.
password because otherwise, somebody steals your ring.
Right.
Yeah. Right. Right. Exactly. Right. Because the concept of a key, like your car key, is useless to someone if they don't know which car is yours.
Right.
Right. But if everyone has a Google Chrome ring, right, you just have to steal someone's and plug it in. You know what it is. Right.
Right.
So-
But the thing I like about the phone is, I always have my phone.
Yeah,
So
I
if
like
I've
the
got
Google
two-factor,
Authenticator. Yeah,
they need to send me a code. They just send it to the phone.
right. Google is it is not a one-time password. SJF in the chat room. It is the same one each time you plug it in. There's no smarts in the YubiKey. It's boom. That's it. However, the Authenticator is a one-time password. I think that's a good solution for second-factor authentication. But as we know, the Google two-step authentication the Authenticator only works when you're logging into Google. If you're giving others access to your Google account, you have to use a much less secure generated second-step password.
Yeah. Why not eye scans or fingerprints? How come that's never really
too
taken
expensive.
off?
Too expensive.
Yeah, too expensive.
To do
Yeah.
to do well anyway. I mean, we have had fingerprints for a long time, but it's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Well, so I always figure that it's got. I can't imagine it's not going to screw up. Misread the finger. Look at every time you get a barcode that misreads or a QR code that misreads. The fingerprint's a complicated thing to read.
I'm sorry. The YubiKey does, in fact, do one-time as well as a fixed password. So
I'd just be afraid of losing it. I mean, a tiny little dongle. I was just talking to
Yeah.
someone about their Fitbit and how they've bought 3 of them because they keep losing them because they're so small.
Right. These are really small.
Yeah, my Fitbit just disintegrated last week.
Mm-hmm.
I was so proud that I had it for so long, and the Fitbit is tough because it's kind of on your person.
Yeah, it's so small.
That's why you'll see security jewelry, right? You'll see security jewelry.
I
You'll
love
wear a
that.
ring, and then we'll have mafia stories
ring
of
is
your
a
ring,
great idea,
ring
yeah.
finger cut off,
Or a necklace.
or you'll wear his necklace.
Could the ring use? I guess the ring could use NFC.
Yeah. The nice hotel where Bill Gross stayed in Munich, my roomie here. Those of you who are on the show now don't understand, but I'll explain it later. It's an NFC key, room key, that also gets you up the elevator, gets you everything else, which is cool. He walked away with it and has to send it back, but we won't tell on him.
I think he walked away with your bandwidth too. He just took it right out of the room with
Yeah,
him.
I know he did. And he's got the key. You want to get the key? Well, I just won't move this time because it'll take the image will get all confused.
Well,
Yeah.
what if you had, we just mentioned Fitbits. What if Nike Fuel Band had the ability to log you into things?
Just go chunk.
Yeah.
You know? I think that's where we need to go. I do think it has to be two-factor, though. I think it shouldn't be just that's the whole thing. What's
Yeah.
that? What's that you're showing us?
that?
Is that your...
That's the key for
that's
the
the key.
Bayerischerhof
Oh, wow.
that Bill Gross nicked,
He stole.
but it's NFC.
It's NFC. Well,
Yeah.
those are cheap to replace. Both Google with its Authenticator and Facebook now have Facebook's app has a built-in Authenticator. Blizzard uses an Authenticator. I think these are getting more and more common. I wish everybody just used Google. LastPass uses Google's Authenticator as well as Google. So I just run that on my phone, and it gives me a one-time key. I love that. But you'd have the same problem you have with two-step authentication, that only Google products would be, key aware.
Yeah.
So you'd still have to, there'd still be that hole. And by the way, they always use Matt Honan as the example, but he got hacked by social engineering.
Right. It was social hacking.
He could have had the best password and all two-step authentication he wanted, but he just called Apple and said, "I don't know my password." And they said, "Oh, well, let's send you a new one." I guess if he'd had two-step, that would, if Apple had two-step, that would have worked. Except that you could always, on all of these, you could say, "Oh, I lost my key too."
Well, that was at the time. I don't remember if it was Apple or Amazon that the bug or the problem was with. But
It
basically,
started with both.
It was Apple.
Yeah,
What was
but it
both? Because they went to Amazon. First thing they do is a who is to get your docs, right? Now they
Right.
have your address. So then they go to Amazon and they add a new credit card, which you don't have to
Right.
do any verification to do. And by doing so, and it doesn't have to even be a real credit card, they get the last 4 digits of your credit card and your address. Now, and by the way, these holes have supposedly been patched. Now, and by the way, it's no passwords yet. Now they go to Apple and say, "Yeah, I forgot the security questions, but here's the last 4 digits of my credit card and my street address." And Apple said, "Oh, no problem. We'll just reset your password there for you."
Right. I mean, that was a question of what secondary information do you use to verify somebody when they've forgotten their password, right? Two different companies use two different.
Right.
That was awful.
Well, Amazon didn't use anything. You just add they don't even verify it. They said, "Good, you want to add another credit card? We're glad to take it."
Right. They're like, right, we'll take your payment. Right. Exactly.
It's really Apple's. The hole was at Apple, and they say they're not doing that anymore. So I believe them. 1998. Somebody just sent me a link in the chat room. I love this. This is from the Java 1 conference in 1998. A Java ring that contained an iButton chip with a Java virtual machine that could act as a token for access control, eCache, data logging. This is from 1998. 14 years ago they had this.
That's cool.
So I guess there's nothing new under the sun.
Yeah, there's nothing new. Right. What's it going to take for people to actually start using something other than a password? That's the question.
Exactly.
It's Java. Your finger's going to fall off.
I know. The last thing you want nowadays. Here, look, as an exploit on my finger. All right, let's take a break. Come back with more. Jeff Jarvis is here from Davos, Switzerland. I want to find out how it's going at the World Economic Forum.
I'll give you my Davos report. Yes,
Davos Report coming up. Gina Trapani from San Diego, California, where it's always sunny.
Always sunny.
Always beautiful. It's always beautiful in Gina land. She is at smarterware.org. And from gigaohm.com, it's Matthew Ingram. Are you in Canada, Matthew?
I am, yeah.
Yeah. You look Canadian. I don't just... No, I'm just teasing you. How's the weather, though, in the Great White North?
It's, when I got up this morning, it was -7 Fahrenheit.
-7 Fahrenheit?
Yeah. -21 Celsius.
That sucks.
Whoa.
That just plain out sucks.
I didn't have to go anywhere.
Where
so
do you live? In
it doesn't
Yellowknife these days?
matter. Toronto.
God, I remember going to Toronto where it was -5, but that was Celsius.
Yeah, 21 is cold.
That's
I'm not
cold.
gonna lie.
I don't remember it ever being that cold when I was working up there.
It's rare. A week or two ago, it was +10. So.
Patio weather.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they call it, Toronto. I'm showing my...
Yeah, I go to San Francisco and we play Spot the Canadian because I'm always wearing a T-shirt
Shorts.
and everyone else is wearing coats
And
and
you go, "God, it's
mitts
hot
and
in here."
hats. And
You're acclimated. Our show today brought to you by a new sponsor, LegalZoom.com. It turns out a lot of the legal work that you pay hundreds of dollars an hour for can be done easily by yourself with LegalZoom.com. I'll give you an example, and this is what I did when I started Twit. I at the time could not afford a lawyer, so I started the LLC, did it all online. It was awesome. It was easy. So incorporate LLC, trademarks. If you have a blog and you have a blog name, smarterware.org, did you trademark Smarterware? You should.
I should.
It's easy and it's inexpensive at LegalZoom.com because you don't need a lawyer for some basic things. Now, here's the neat thing. LegalZoom has now established a group of lawyers. You can speak to their legal plan attorney to get questions answered as kind of an adjunct to LegalZoom, which is fantastic. At pre-negotiated low rates. So this is a great way to get a lot of, and for family, last will and testament, trademark, incorporation. LegalZoom's not a law firm. I want to make this clear. You don't need a law firm. You can do most of this stuff yourself. Patents, NDAs. If you do NDAs, this would be great. In the past 12 years, 2 million Americans have used LegalZoom for wills, for trusts, for trademarks, LLCs, NDAs. Their online process is very easy. It just goes step by step. And you get total customer support. And if at any point you go, well, gee, I don't know, what's the right answer to this question, they have actual attorneys who can help you at a very affordable cost. I think you're going to like LegalZoom. And by the way, if you decide to use attorney, they have online profiles and unedited customer reviews, so you know exactly what you're getting ahead of time. I'm going to save you $10 off as a way of thanking you for using our offer code. We want LegalZoom to know you heard about this on Twig. So when you decide to use LegalZoom, make sure you use the offer code TWIG, and they'll take $10 off, which is a nice thing. Just a little way of thanking you. LegalZoom.com. You should know about this. Make a note. Keep it in mind. Because, you know, if you want to do a startup, you don't have to go to get the venture capital first to pay for the white shoe attorneys. You just go to LegalZoom. It's so much easier. LegalZoom.com. If you visit the website, you see all the things they can do. Lots of business services, personal services, that kind of thing. So at the same time, Jeff and Gina both dropped off. And now they're back. I don't understand. Is it us? Is it me?
I'm still here.
I know. Matthew and we're getting along great.
I'm usually the one who drops off.
I just lost Skype entirely. I think it was me.
I think it's Microsoft. I'm going to blame Microsoft.
Yeah.
I keep waiting for Skype just to die forever. Let's see what else is going on. Let's get the Davos report, then we'll talk about Mega.
In case I go away. All right. So for the Davos report, I need to do this, of course. Wear my Davos hat. Gotta wear that.
Can't wait to get my hat.
I have my Davos badge here, the official Davos badge. I shouldn't move the video because it messes the bandwidth up. I'll stop moving now. I've been here since when we were here last night. Went to the Tech Pioneers dinner, which is an amazing thing to go to because they really do bring in technology pioneers, people who are growing leafy green vegetables in car-sized warehouses with no light and hardly any water. People who are putting flexible chips into things that affect your heart. People who just are doing amazing things all around. And so that's what Davos does. It brings those people in. Today I had to do 2 events, so I don't really have a lot to report here. I think that I went to a social session this morning where I'll take the hat off now. Where what was interested in me was we had people from Excel and MIT and a Chinese journalist and Ushahidi, and there was a lot of talk about the internet not just disrupting business, but now disrupting truly government. And that surprised me to come at this point from here, but it worked. I think it's an important discussion to have. I think there's a realization now that as somebody said, we are renegotiating the social contract with the government. As somebody else said, data allows the citizens to go around politicians because citizens know more often than government does, and that's highly disruptive to government. So that was all very interesting. It's kind of a Davosian discussion. And the other news here is there is no Google party this year and no Excel wine party. The Excel wine party, to start with that one, was incredible. They flew in sommeliers and unbelievable cases of unbelievable wines. And I managed to sneak into the damn thing twice. But Joe Schorndorf said today that they did kind of look at the list at the end of the night, and they saw 400 people there and 300 people they didn't even know who managed to get invitations. But I think the other truth is that the World Economic Forum is trying to make things look a little less.
It's a little elitist. Yeah.
Yeah. So the Google gave up its party. Reports that I believe have it that they were not pressured, but they was suggested that they really should stop giving the party. And Google, I think, was fine with that because it was a major thing. And all the parties are the same. They're just very loud with, sprockets playing and all that. So that's going on. Yahoo, however, Marissa Mayer is now here for the first time. She's a denizen of Davos, but she's here for the first time for Yahoo, and she is instead going to have a party. So Marissa Mayer, reports have it, is taking over the party beat. Meanwhile, they always had on Saturday night this big gala where you're supposed to wear black tie and all that kind of stuff. That's dead. Now people are going to go up and eat brunch on the snow.
Wow.
It's pretty much the same thing it always is. It's the Machers of the world coming here. The bankers are unapologetic for how they've screwed up the world, as always. And they're out there saying that. We have David Cameron talking tomorrow, and Angela Merkel, I think, is talking this time. Morsi's talking. So you have all, these heads of state and big important people coming. And it's kind of fascinating to be here at the same time. I don't know how the hell I got in, but what the heck, I'm here. So I'm staying. The other thing, if I may, Bill, I'm going to introduce you all to my roommate. Bill's, there's the famous Bill Gross.
Awesome.
Major entrepreneur who's, now you might wonder why we're here, because that's what it's like. This is a typical Davos room. It ain't fancy, folks.
Well, that's Spartan.
I'm going to put the camera back.
With Murphy beds, no less.
But it's because it really is Spartan. It really is. We have one plug. I mean, see if I can show you I'm going to show you my electric situation now here.
There is.
I have a British, UK extension cord into an American extension things into yet another one over here. If we go off the next time, it's because Bill plugged in his shaver. Yes. So the rooms are so tight here that when Bill got his invitation here, they were going to put him halfway to Hamburg. So I volunteered for him to bunk with me. So I'm staying with world-famous entrepreneur Bill Gross in this horrible little room. But that's Davos. So it's elitist, it's the powerful, it's the Machers, but we're in crappy hotels and we complain about it. As the poor slobs. Yeah.
Who organizes this? Who is this?
This is Professor Klaus Schwab, who has the greatest accent you've ever heard. First year I was here, Klaus Schwab. He's German and Swiss. He was at a party thrown by Burda, which is tonight. I'm missing for your sake, folks.
Oh, wow.
And he got up on stage. This was the days of Second Life. And he got up on stage and he said, "I have an avatar." I was like that. And so Schwab is this amazing guy who decided to do this 42 years ago and put it together. And now it's this no greater collection of machers can you imagine than what he put together. And he just does it. It's
Boy, 42
so there's
years.
heads of state, heads of companies.
Technology has really changed this. I mean, a lot more, I'm sure, a lot more entrepreneurial, a lot less governmental.
Incredibly so. And listen, you can knock the forum for being the elite and the establishment, and that's certainly true. And the bankers are here, and the government's here. But they also, I have to give them a lot of credit. They do a good job of trying to bring in technology pioneers, what they call young liberal leaders, some people I really respect greatly, young people who are under 40 who are here. Now they have a new group called, it sounds a bit science fictionist, but they have the Shapers. The global shapers. Sounds like they change shape when they will. But they're under 30. And so they try to, what I've said about Davos the last 3 years is that I'm among the disrupted. I'd prefer to be among the disruptors. But they try to bring in some disruptors as well. And, so you can give me crap for coming, and I would deserve it. But I figure I have the chance to come because I helped them with blogging 7 years ago, and they've forgotten to disinvite me. And so I get to come and I get to hobnob and do amazing things. I got on the way down here. We went to the DLD conference in Munich, and I had a dinner there with Arthur Sulzberger of the Times, who I've gotten to know better because I come here, even though we're next door neighbors, and Alec Ross from the State Department, and Max Levchin, and just amazing people. And that's what happens is you end up with these lunches and dinners and car rides with some amazing people, and so I can't pass it up. It's too interesting.
No,
But
and you
that's
go
my
as our
Davos
proxy, so it's nice. Gina and I don't have to go because you do.
I
your
am
food
here
camp.
as, of course.
Yeah, it's kind of like food camp for the rich and famous.
Yeah.
I'm here as a twig schlub. Yeah, that's what's right.
And you're appropriately attired.
Yeah.
Next year, Gina, I'll wear the fez instead. How would that be?
Have you gone?
Awesome.
Have you gone, Matthew? I know you said you were invited. Have you gone before?
No, I never have. I was joking about being invited.
Oh.
I've never been invited.
Ohm went though. Ohm Malik
did, yeah.
Ohm is there,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
DLD before. What is DLD, Jeff? What is that all about?
Burda, which is a big German publisher, holds this conference always right before Davos. And so they get the Davosians to come there, and it's wildly overcrowded. And Mark Zuckerberg spoke there, in 2006, I think it was.
That's in Munich.
When he bragged in Munich, and he bragged then that that Facebook had just gone, and he was so amazed. And I watched this happen from 1 million to 2 million users. And now Joe Schorndorf that was there from Excel, who invested in Facebook, of course, and who said, now they're over 1 billion. This is pretty much amazing. DLD is a good conference. It's wildly overcrowded, but the hallway is great. I did a session with Lufthansa there, which is how I got over, frankly. Full disclosure. Imagining with a whole bunch of entrepreneurs in the room what it would be like to turn an airline into an API. And it was actually a fascinating kind of conversation you could have there. And then I was on a journalism panel where I caused some fuss because you know what I talked about, folks? You know what I talked about?
What?
Get ready, Chad. You ready to cue it here?
Leistungswachsende
Leistungsschutzrecht.
Lights. Did you do
There's
it to
one
a
more-
reggae beat, Jeffrey?
No, I did tell the Germans, not in the panel, I didn't say this, but I did tell the Germans off stage, but that had been put to a reggae beat, and they giggled. And then there's one schmuck in Twitter, I'm sure he's a very nice guy, he always tries to correct me, so I know it's Leistungsschutzrecht. I know it's the right. I get that, but I'm American.
There's a in there.
And then a poor friend of mine, a very good friend of mine, brilliant editor and publisher named Katharina Bokert, works for a big publisher. I talk about this very, very controversial thing in Germany with publishers. It's in front of all these publishers. And then the moderator asks her what she thinks, putting her on a horrible hotspot. But this was actually very controversial here to talk about that. So it's been an interesting week. I fly back on Sunday, and I'll be glad to be back and then go back into class on Monday. That's my report.
Did you
from
ask
Davos, and I was trumpet for that.
Did you ask Arthur Oakes Sulzberger about the report from the Post? I'm sorry, the New York Magazine, that Donald Trump was in negotiations to buy the Gray Lady. Did you ask him about that?
No, I didn't, but I have my own little Donald Trump story, Leo, since you happen to bring him up.
Okay.
So here's my Donald Trump story. So So you remember that Deadspin had the big scoop about the Notre Dame player who had the apparently imaginary
Yeah.
girlfriend, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And Donald Trump came online and said,
Oh, this is a funny
kudos.
Twitter battle. Yeah.
So there's another chapter you probably don't know about. So Trump comes along a line and he says, kudos to reporter, and I think he misspelled one of their names or something, and Deadspin. And Deadspin, in true Gawkerish Denton style, responded in full, and I'll abbreviate it, F you.
Yeah.
So, and this lasted for a little while, going on. People retweeted it like saying, but of course, I'm in this politeness gig lately for the internet.
Hey, what the heck, Jeff? Come on.
No, so I wrote this piece, and I just said, for once, I'm actually sympathizing with Donald Trump, which, of course, brought the wrath of the net down upon me. And so to excuse myself for this, I said, well, folks, I'm not a fan of Donald Trump. When I was Sunday editor of the New York Daily News, I did a cover that Donald Trump was the great has-been. So that sat there for a few days. Then suddenly, out of nowhere, I get a tweet from Donald Trump saying, you were a lousy editor and you were fired.
Oh, my God.
Nice.
Welcome to the
Nice.
list,
F
Jeff
you.
Jarvis. Now we know why
Nice.
you're in Davos. You're on the enemies list.
Because I'm more important than Donald Trump. I'm here and you're not, Donald.
So it sounded like, and maybe I misunderstood this, that was Donald giving him a backhanded
And
compliment
that
when he
did in my
said,
bandwidth, didn't it?
yeah,
No, he was complimenting them.
he was complimenting him. They said F you. And then he says, Deadspin's disgusting response will teach me and others not to be nice anymore. A sad lesson. And then he hasn't said enough. So he says, Deadspin guys are total losers. They had their stories stolen right out from under their bad complexions. Other media capitalized.
Yeah, they got 80 billion page views.
I'm
That sounds
following
like
the
a
real
model.
Donald Trump. This guy has something to say. Holy cow! I want to see
And it
what.
is. Listen,
And he slimed you. Wow.
it's like me.
So-
and so I said back, geez, this is what I get for being nice to you.
Leo,
Yeah,
I saw
no
a
kidding.
response. I saw a response to the New York Times rumor. I can't remember who it was. I saw it go by on Twitter, and they said, I got an official response from Sulzberger to the rumor, and then it was just the word laughter.
But Trump doesn't have enough money. The Times is valued at over $1 billion. I don't think Trump is going to spend $1 billion on an iffy proposition like the New York Times.
I think it was Anthony DeRosa of Reuters who said on Twitter, and he was right. He said, "Well, we cover the chance of Donald Trump becoming president and buying the New York Times is equal, but we like covering it anyway."
This is Trump. He looks for the places where he can get attention and plant stories, I'm sure. I mean, his most recent tweet, almost every television network wants me badly, but I stay loyal to NBC.
Oh, I
That's a good
love the
imitation,
dramatic reading in the voice.
I can't
I
do
want
his
you to
voice,
read all his tweets in his voice. It's so great.
Can you do the hair?
You probably. I know what kind of animal it came from, so I just have to get a piece of that fur.
Pull it
Just,
forward. and
just
then
revel in the
show.
fact that your hair is way better.
I get better hair than
There you
Trump.
go.
That's not saying much.
It's not saying much, but it's much better.
Yeah. Wow. So he slimed you. That's good, Jeff. I think you're in good company.
Yeah, achievement unlocked.
Yeah, I'm-
for you.
Achievement unlocked. You're such a geek.
No, seriously.
There's my bucket list. I just need Desmond Tutu to insult me now, and I'm
And
complete.
you're there. Yeah. Wow. All right, I'm going to stop reading Donald Trump's Twitter feed and move on.
Please, Leo, please.
Yeah.
Social graph, nothing more to say. We talked a lot about it last week, the new Facebook search.
Have you guys gotten it?
Not yet. Have you?
Yes, it just got enabled on my account yesterday.
I applied, or whatever. You give them your...
Yeah, they must be rolling out.
How do you know? It would give you a banner.
Leo, you couldn't miss it. It's across the top.
Yeah.
They replaced the Facebook logo. Like the word Facebook does not appear.
Wow.
It's the F, and then it says, search for people, places, and things. That's what surprised me the most about this is that this is the first thing top left of the page. It's the first bit of UI that when you come to Facebook that they want you to do. It's just it makes it look like a search engine. So you'll see it when you get it.
So what was your first search? Did you do anything?
Well, you click in the box and it has this kind of auto suggest. So the first things that it suggests are these like basic searches: my friends, photos of my friends, restaurants nearby, games my friends play. So I just started typing, photos or a name of a friend, and you can do things that Leo Laporte likes. Let's try. So you just start to. I've experimented with it a little bit, and the suggest is actually quite fast. And you keep being like, oh yeah, show me a Chinese restaurant in San Francisco that my friends like, and it's actually pretty useful. I have to say, it was more useful than I thought that it would be. Now that I have it, so I'll be interested to see if you agree when you get it.
Do you feel encouraged now to put more data in there, do more liking, tag stuff more elaborately? In other words, make it more useful to your friends?
Well, I use Facebook. I'm kind of on the fence about Facebook, so it actually makes me want to draw back a little bit. It made me want to change my likes, to get them up to date, and I'll think more when I like things. I don't know.
Did you want to hide any?
I don't think that there weren't any that I want to hide. There's just some that are just sort of out of date. I'm just not as into Battlestar Galactica now as I was when it was airing. That type of thing. Just updating stuff. I don't know.
But maybe more cautious.
Yeah, maybe a little more cautious. The one search that I really like are photos that I've liked, which is just basically a list of my friends. It's just a bunch of photos of my friends, like kids and pets. But before I like a photo, I'll probably think about it a little bit more, because now I know that's a sort of public-facing view. But for the most part, it's pretty useful.
Did you see the Tumblr blog actual Facebook graph searches?
No.
I didn't.
Yeah, it's kind of disturbing actually, because one of the first ones is men interested in men who live in Tehran.
Ooh.
There's another one. Yeah, some
That's
of them
dangerous.
Well, the
Mothers of
point is
Jews who
obviously-
like bacon.
right.
Oh.
That's not nice.
Married people who like Ashley Madison.
Married people who like prostitutes. How about that? Current Tesco employees who like horses. Current employees of people.
You get that one. You know what that one
No,
refers
what's
to?
that?
Yeah.
There were Tesco burgers in the UK that were found
Made out
with
of
genetic material of horses.
Horse meat. Okay. Current employers of people who like racism.
Mm-hmm.
The U.S.
Who
Air
likes
Force.
racism?
Sorry.
Like, who goes and
I mean,
clicks,
Apparently you
how do you-
can.
I like
Get
racism.
that.
So at some point, somebody set up a page that was like racism, or there are pages for everything.
guess.
There's pages for
Yeah.
sexism, racism, and pooping my pants. Like there's all kinds of crazy pages. And if you like them as a kind of a joke or whatever at some time, then it shows up in this new context, which kind of seems
See,
a
that's
lot
the
more.
thing. It's
You'd
I
have,
mean the Tumblr blog is kind of a joke, but it's sort of disturbing.
yeah,
that
but you'd have to be an
something you liked
idiot if you're
months
married
ago-
to like Ashley Madison, which is a site where you find people to cheat with. You're doing that publicly. Why would you like it? I mean, that's stupid.
But I think lots of people don't see it as public. They see it as somewhere in this gray area between public and private.
Be careful what you like,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's the lesson.
Yeah.
People who like Focus on the Family and Neil Patrick Harris. That's funny. By the way, they just show that there's results. They black out the actual results.
And you
So
can
just
see
a-
how you can target even more closely on the right-hand side.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Gender,
Refine
age,
this search, and there's all
geographic.
the yeah.
I can do friends of my friends who like racism. Sorry, there are no results for this search. Good
That's
job.
good.
That's good.
Good job, friends of friends.
Good.
The friends of
And
my
someone-
friends is interesting, isn't it, though? Because now you're getting a little deeper into the weeds.
Well, that's how Randy Zuckerberg's photo got
Exactly.
published.
Exactly. And I think that's the single biggest data leak point on Facebook.
Friends of friends.
Friends of friends.
Yeah.
Single women who live nearby who are interested in men and like getting drunk.
There was
It
also
all
one.
comes down to getting the single women drunk. It always does.
That's a search I'm going to make a note of. This is funny. It's actual Facebook graph searches.tumblr.com. Tom Scott. He says, don't worry, we'll all be used to this in a few weeks' time.
He's right.
Yeah, I mean, on the one hand, you are doing this publicly with your likes and all.
Sort of.
It is a question. I think generally you're right. If you've said you liked something, that it ends up there, and people are going out of the board. But there is a question of presumed use, and that's where
Right.
we're always going to end up with this syncopation problem with data.
Yeah.
Gee, I never thought that it'd be used that
Right.
way. And a lot of times that's, well, geez, he shouldn't have put it up there. But a lot of times that's also, oh yeah, you got a point. That looks bad now.
Steve Cheney, who's
And you think of that later.
biz dev at Groupon, wrote a blog post. He calls them dirty likes that you didn't at the time they didn't have any import. I wanted a coupon,
Right.
so I liked Chipotle, but now all of a sudden because of the search they have import.
And that's a good point. Like, I think what he's saying is the signals that those likes or whatever are transmitting aren't as valuable as they seem to be,
Right.
because you don't know the context in which you liked it. You might have had to like something in order to get access to a site, or like gating or whatever. So you don't really know why that person clicked on that thing, and now it's just part of that construct, that virtual you that Facebook is creating.
I'm going to give Jeff Jarvis a number because this blog post has he's gone again, unfortunately. But this blog post has a kind of surprising number in it. So when we get him back, I'm going to tell him, I'm going to give you a gift, Jeff Jarvis. I'm going to go down and I'm going to link
From
to the
Petaluma to
number.
Davos.
From Petaluma to Davos. It's amazing. Could we do this if it weren't for the magic of the internet?
We couldn't.
No. Would we want to? No.
He's back.
So I'm going to put
back.
I'm going to give you
I forgot.
I'm going to give you a number, Jeff. I'm going to put it in the.
Okay.
I'm going to put it
All
in
right,
the.
go.
I'm putting
Actually,
the link.
I just thought of one.
Oh, you thought of one? Good, then I'll use it. Use this. This is from the Steve Cheney article. Facebook has convinced a lot of advertisers to spend a lot of money to generate likes. Did you know, for instance, according to Steve Cheney, who is biz dev at Groupon, so he probably does know this fact, over the past several years, American Express has spent about half of its total ad spend buying likes on Facebook. Tens of millions of dollars. That's how important to them. And they knew, because
What
you
a
know what?
waste.
They're right. That probably was good money well spent. In fact, he says,
Really?
across the board, big advertisers were told by Facebook to spend about half of their ad buy on fan acquisition. Not just by Facebook, but by agencies and experts. Well, I think, yeah, especially now because of the graph search, that like has some value, doesn't it? Not that anybody's going to search
Theoretically.
for restaurants that my friends who like American Express like.
I think the question is how much value. I mean, how
Right.
much value does a single like have? Because you don't know what that person meant by clicking like.
Yeah.
It's a blunt instrument.
Yeah, sometimes you like stuff you hate. Right?
Sometimes
Yeah.
it's an ironic like, sarcastic like.
Right. Oh,
Pity
I
like.
like that.
Or sometimes, somebody will put up a tribute or say something about someone who was killed or something like that, and you like what they said, but it makes it seem like you like the murder.
Right. Exactly. That happens all the time. There's new nuance. It's just like.
I just tried credit cards my friends like, and that did not work.
Ah. Interesting. What do you think about John Battelle? This is one for you, Jeff Jarvis. John Battelle, who says Twitter is actually a media company.
Yeah, I
And
wrote about that too.
yeah. Okay, Matthew. That
for it,
sounds
Matthew.
reasonable. It's a little disturbing to me, but because I'm a media company and I'm Twit, and we kind of had a gentleman's agreement. I wasn't going to do a social media network, and Twitter wasn't going to get into media, but I guess it's too late now.
Uh-oh. Yeah, I hear they're starting a TV show.
Yeah, they're doing a TV show. But really, the contents of Twitter, and Twitter's moved in this, the point, I think, of this article and others is that Twitter, through the use of its embedding into the Twitter stream and so forth, is turning the Twitter website into a media stream.
Yeah, I think John's point was that all of that content, and this is actually related to Facebook too, depending on how you look at it, Facebook is a giant user-generated content media company as
Sure,
well. And the point
yeah.
he was making was all of that data, billions of tweets, 500 million a day, all of that information is data that Twitter can use to show you more relevant content, show you more relevant ads, all the things that media companies are trying to do. And theoretically, if they can figure it out, I mean, my point was their relevance needs to get better. Facebook's relevance needs to get better. How do they determine what signals to look at and what not to look at? They're, if you look at the Discover tab or even the emails, they need to do some work on making that stuff really relevant. But that's clearly where they're going.
One of the things Battelle suggests is that Twitter will add to its trends a happenings page or section where you can see Hurricane Sandy, the World Cup, whatever's going on right now. Yeah. And then it really is. I mean, it's true. When a celebrity dies or there's a storm like Sandy, where do we go? We often go to Twitter to get the latest direct news.
Yeah, and this happens on TV all the time, right? I feel like that when events are going on, I mean,
they go to Twitter.
Like New Year's Eve, right?
Yeah.
Like the ticker at the bottom is just tweets. I mean, clearly curated, edited tweets, right? But they say, hey, CNN did this, like, hey, use this hashtag.
Right.
And then there's somebody behind the scenes saying, yeah, let that one go, let that one go. So you really could see Twitter just doing that, having a sort of
actually, news shows I've noticed, even with events, they'll just read tweets. Like,
they'll just read tweets.
This happened, and then just read tweets.
I know, it's so sad. It's so pathetic.
I could do that.
Yeah. It's so pathetic. I can read the tweets myself. Thank you. I'll just go to Twitter now, I guess.
I mean, we've talked about, that's what Andy Carvin does, right? I mean, he's this, master curator of tweets for various events. Yeah.
So, go ahead.
The only risk, to me at least, is that, Twitter is a single entity, right? It's a company.
I agree.
They control this giant sort of user-generated media entity that we're all contributing to. I mean, that has risks as well as benefits.
Well, somebody in the chat room said, Twitter's not news, it's gossip. I don't know if that's fair. I think it is news when it's the Arab Spring or it's Hurricane Sandy.
Yeah, and lots of news is gossip, let's face it.
Right.
Rumors about Apple's earnings.
Right.
What's that?
Right. It's unfiltered more. I mean, I think if you're going to say, well, here's the problem, it's not that it's gossip, but that it's unfiltered.
Right. And so Twitter's trying to come up with filters.
Right.
Just like Facebook's trying to come up with filters. And it's partly for you, and it's partly for advertisers.
Right. Yeah, the better it does this, the better it can target ads. Antitrust action going on. It's been going on for a couple of years now against Google, as well as Apple, Intel, and others. It's apparently illegal. And if you think about it, there's good reason for it to be illegal, for companies to agree with one another, we won't poach your employees. It's being heard right now. In fact, Apple chief executive Tim Cook is being deposed even as we speak. The problem is that, in fact, there's Steve Jobs even apparently threatened Palm, saying if you keep poaching our employees, we're going to sue you for patents. Bringing out the big gun. So all these Silicon Valley companies agreed, and the reason it is in fact part of antitrust law. It is illegal, and the reason it is because it disadvantages employees. If I can't go across the street and get a better job, you can keep my compensation low. So this is a huge and continuing story. Intuit, eBay, Google, Apple, Adobe, Intel, Pixar, all involved. In 2010, those companies agreed to a settlement that they won't do it anymore, but the potential for a class action lawsuit continues. We talked about it before, but just this is the new information.
Hey, Leo.
Yeah.
I'm driving poor Chad crazy. Can I maybe do a number and then knock off?
Yeah, let's wrap it up. We'll let you do your number. I'll take a break, and then we'll get tips and tools and all of that. Go ahead. What is your number, my friend?
And I'm Chad. I'm here. You have no video? Okay.
That's all right. Just talk. We hear you.
Okay. So here's the number.
Imagine Jeff wearing a silly hat.
Yes, I'll put it on and believe that I'm wearing it. So Sebastian Thrun, who's the amazing guy at Google who created the self-driving car, who also has founded Udacity, he was on a panel today about whether self-driving cars are real or not, moderated by David Kirkpatrick. And then just to have a number so I can have a number, he said that there are 3 parking spots in America for every car.
Wow.
And so there's an infrastructure cost that if we had cars that really got shared all around, here's this little anecdote that I'm using as an excuse that I loved, and I hope I'm not violating anything by saying this, but he basically, I think, has one of these things all the time and home, and somebody asked him what it's like, and he says it's really magical. And at first it's magical. Then for about 10 minutes, you start to trust the car more. And so he said that his wife oftentimes will ask him to stop driving himself and just turn on the automatic car, which I found very honest of him and quite amazing. That's where the self-driving car is. And it just sounds amazing. There was a guy a major executive from UPS on the panel, talked about all the data they have and how they really do train them just to turn right and all that kind of stuff. And he got all excited about this notion, talking about how you could have the driver not driving back in the back of the truck, getting the next delivery ready.
Wow.
So that was an amazing Davos moment that gave me a fake number of the week. And otherwise, I apologize to you for being horrible on bandwidth.
No, I am thrilled that you made the effort to be on the show, and you were on the show for an hour and a half. And furthermore, that you gave up that party. Is it too late to go?
No, I'm not going. I'm too old. But as punishment, Chad has put up the photo of me that I hate most on earth that Scoble took.
It looks
Makes me look like a sour puss, like I've got an iPhone up my rear. I hate that
You look pissed.
photo. I hate that photo. Yeah. Well, Scoble's looking at me. What do you think?
I think you're saying, you talking to me? You talking to me?
Yeah.
Talking to me?
Who are you talking to? You talking to me? I don't see anyone else here. You talking to me?
Anyone else here?
It's the photo on your Wikipedia page.
Treat me.
Oh, poor Jeff. Somebody take a Creative Commons photo of Jeff and put it on his Wikipedia page. Smiling. Poor Jeff.
Sorry, Chad. I've abused you all night. Chad's called me back more often than the audience knows because it keeps going off. Now I'm back
Up and
on
down.
the hotspot. But anyway, so I figure I better sign off.
We'll
before I
let you
ruin the
go.
show more.
Thank
Go
you,
back
Jeff.
and forth. I love you guys. I'll see you in the United States of America.
Good. And when you get back,
Jeff.
I'm going to ask you about the Harper's editor who compared Google to Baby Talk and said it's equivalent of desensitization of violence.
I should have talked about that.
Well, it's a great story, but I can't do it without Jeff, our media commentator. So we'll do it next week. And
Safe travel, Jeff.
Wiedersehen, meine Freunde.
Liegt schon Zeitschrift.
Like,
Thank you, Jeff Jarvis. We'll get our tool and our tip of the week. And if Matthew Ingram, you got anything off the top of your head you want to throw in, you will get that opportunity too. But first, a word from Ting. Ting is making mobile better. Ting is a no BS mobile phone service that you really ought to check out. They're based on the Sprint network. So if you've got good Sprint connectivity, then you want to try Ting. You can. It's an MVNO. That's the technical term, a mobile virtual network operator, reselling Sprint service. And frankly, don't tell Sprint doing a much better job of it. So here's the way it works. There's no early termination fee. There's no contract. So you pay month to month, and you don't ever pay a penalty. So here's and you get a rebate if you don't use as many minutes as you said you'd use. So here's how it works. You pick a plan. You don't have to pick. You can pick a zero plan and just pay as you go if you want. As many phones as you want on your plan. Each phone is $6 a month. So let's say I have a family of 4 or a small business. I'm going to have 4 phones. I'll give you an example. Let's say 1,000 minutes nationwide calling. Text messages, 1,000 a month. That's probably plenty. 3 gigabytes. Let's go for all the data we can eat. That plan per month for a family of 4, $107. Period. Not each, for the whole family. That's probably less than you're paying right now for one phone. Ting's got other great features. They hotspotting and tethering included, 3-way calling free, call forwarding, caller ID, voicemail. I love it that you can do hotspotting on the phone for free. And by the way, they've got great devices to choose from, all the way up to the Galaxy Note 2, the Samsung Galaxy S3. They have less expensive phones as well. They have the Optimus G. If you wanted a Nexus 4, you can't get one. The Optimus G basically is kind of the Nexus 4 unbound. And when you go to twig.ting.com and use the Twig offer code, you're going to take $25 right off the top. Now, it's unsubsidized prices because there's no termination fee. There's no contract. It's month to month. They do have very good prices, but they're not subsidized. You're paying for the phone. It's yours. You own it. You get a lot of other great features and the ability to manage your account from a dashboard to see everything that's going on. I am a big fan. Ting really wants to reinvent the way cell phones work. I want you to visit twig.ting.com and find out more. By the way, they have you can bring an existing Sprint device to Ting, so if you're a Sprint customer, you might want to just take a look at their beta, the public beta of the Bring Your Own Device, and find out, how to do it. I am a big fan of Ting. They've got forums. They've got great help. No hold, toll-free support anytime between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. Eastern. I can go on and on, but I don't think I should have to. Just go to Ting. Twig.ting.com. Get $25 off your first device and find out how great a cell phone company really can be. They really are amazing. Let us get to Gina Trapani and her tip of the week.
Just a little tip this week. I've been really into communities on Google+, much more than I thought I would be. And I should probably take this opportunity to plug the Twig community.
Yes.
And the All About Android community. I use both of them to prep for the shows and to hear from listeners, and fantastic. But if you don't want your communities posts to show up on your Google Plus profile, like in the posts area of the Google Plus profile, you can do that. And it's just a new setting that Google rolled out, I think a week ago, in the past week. You could just go into your Google Plus settings and you can uncheck a box that says show your communities posts on the post tab of your profile. Just a little thing, but if you really like posting about Android or photography or cooking or whatever, if you're really active in a community but you just don't want that to show up on your profile, you want to post publicly in the community, but you don't want to show up on your profile, you can do that now. Just uncheck that setting, and you can do so. And you should check out the Twig community and join it if you're listening now, because I've got my ears on in there, and I love to hear from listeners.
That's awesome. And I agree with Reposter, who says you are killing it on All About Android.
Oh, thank you.
Really glad to have you as a host there, Jason and Ron. And that is such a good show if you're into Android phones, and I guess we all are probably. All About Android is fantastic.
Those guys are awesome. It's a lot of fun. It's kind of goofy, laid back, lots of cool transitions. Chad, we hear from Chad a lot more, which I really like. It's a lot of fun doing that show.
Good. Well, thank you so much for being a part of it. We really appreciate it. Smarterware.org for Gina Trapani. Matthew, anything you want to toss in?
I guess since we mentioned Android, I've been testing out an Android phone. I was an iPhone user, have been for years, and I've been trying out a Droid Razr HD. And I have to say, one of the things I was afraid of giving up was Apple's photo stream, where all your photos are synced across all your Apple devices. And I discovered this thing called Open Photo, which I've been using. You can either use their hosting or you can use S3, and I've got an S3 account. So it automatically, all my photos from the phone are sent up to Open Photo. It's got a great website, and so it reproduces a lot of what I liked about PhotoStream, and yeah, it's great.
You can also use Dropbox for that, and Google Plus does it automatically with the Google Plus app on Android. Just turn on the instant uploads, and everything gets uploaded. Makes it easy to share. I really like that feature.
I do too, and they actually have a great built-in editor too at Google Plus.
Yeah.
I've been using that a lot. So
Aviary.
They get auto-uploaded, and then I go and tweak them there. It's good for that.
Very good. This one just came from the Security Now show. I had no idea you could do this. You probably knew this, Gina, but you can type into Google search, what is my IP address?
Yeah, I've done that.
Oh, yeah.
And it will tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really handy.
That's great.
You can make it even shorter, just my IP.
Well, I guess I'm the last person in the world who knew about this.
I can't get enough of these little one box. That's actually not, it's not the fancy one box, but it is. I love the stuff that just gives you the answers right there.
And we were showing you the one box for definitions. I used to go to dictionary.com. I'm not going to do it anymore. You just define a word Anti-disestablishment. Oh, I didn't even have to finish it. It just knew where I was going with that. And it goes, and boom, and the one box is right there at the top. I love that.
Calculator's really good too.
Yeah. I think people know, don't you? Everybody knows about the calculator. I also use a currency conversion all the time.
Currency conversion, yeah. And
I do
measurements
temperature,
conversions.
So
Yeah.
I watched, there's a great movie which I recommend, Jiro Dreams of Sushi. Have you seen that? It's about the
heard of it,
best
but I haven't seen it.
sushi master in the world. It's a documentary. He's almost 90 years old, and he's the only three-star Michelin three. He's the oldest Michelin three-star chef, the only sushi chef that I think that's a Michelin three-star. And his shop is in the subway at the Ginza, tiny. But at the very beginning, they say at the very beginning, it's 30,000 yen for a meal. And so I searched for 30,000 yen. Apparently, I'm not the only one, because that is immediately when you type 30,000 yen, you get Jiro Streams of Sushi. You get how many yen in dollars. I mean, it's clearly, this is a very popular search because of people who see this movie.
$338.
It's that's starting price for a sushi meal.
Wow.
At Jiro's.
Wow.
And there's only 9 seats.
Whoa.
Whoa. I'm going there next time I'm in Tokyo, which I've never been. So that make it sound like I go there all the time.
I'm sure it's pretty easy to get in.
Sure, can't be hard with 9 seats.
No problem.
How hard could it be? It's a good movie. If you like sushi, even if you don't, you should. It's an amazing movie.
I love sushi
Yeah,
and
I'd like to see it.
documentaries.
Oh,
Yeah.
you'll love this.
I've
Oh
heard
my
a lot about
God,
it.
you're gonna love this. Jiro, Jiro. It's on Netflix.
Awesome.
So I give you 2 tips there. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Thanks to Jeff Jarvis for making his way here all the way from Switzerland. Thanks also to Gina Trapani, smartaware.org. And, of course, the great Matthew Ingram at gigaohm.com. Matthew,
Thanks a lot,
is there
Leo.
anything else you ever want to plug? Do you do a podcast? You must do a podcast. Everybody does a podcast.
I'm working on one.
See?
Awesome.
What's it going to be about?
Media.
Oh, I was hoping poutine.
Yep. No, I can throw some poutine in there. Sure.
Okay. Poutine cast. Well, it's great to have you, Matthew. Always like having you on the show. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
17 below in Toronto. Stay warm.
Oof. Frosty 71 degrees here in San Diego.
Ah, shut up.
Come on, I had to get that in there. I had to
hate
get that in.
Hate you. Coming up in just a bit, Eric Kuhn joins us, a founder's card on our triangulation show. You can watch Twig this week in Google, 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, every Wednesday on twit.tv. That's 2100 UTC. But if you missed the show, don't worry. You can always download a copy after the fact. We've got on-demand audio and video available on our website, twit.tv/twig, or wherever podcasts are aggregated, like iTunes and the Zune store and so forth. Downcast, Instacast, all of those. Thanks for being here. We'll see you next time on This Week in Google.